Welcome to another episode of The Route, where we talk about scaling your pest control company. My name's Landon Daines. I'm your host. I've been in the pest control industry for 9 years now, starting out as a door-to-door sales rep, done thousands and thousands of deals as a sales rep, led teams that have done millions of dollars, eventually started my own company, scaled that up for 3 years, and then got acquired for 7 figures last year, and now I help other pest control owners scale their businesses. And for today's episode, I want to talk about a book I recently read, the Elon Musk book by Walter Isaacson. And I know right now, Elon Musk is a polarizing figure. Some people hate him, some people love him. Everything I talk about today is just straight down the middle, not going to pick a side, and just lessons I learned from his book and who he is as a person, and specifically as a business person, all personal and other things aside. I want to talk about 5 lessons I learned and how it can be applied to your pest control business. Because, as the richest man in the world, clearly there's something he knows right about business and making money, and hopefully a few things we can learn for pest control. So, one of the first things that was super impressive is Elon Musk and all the businesses he's run with Tesla, with SpaceX, with all the AI companies and all the other companies, is he always focused on cutting things out of the process. He had a phrase that was mentioned many times, is he said, cut as many things out as possible, and if you don't have to add back at least 10%, you didn't cut enough. And so with production lines, with processes in his business, he said just cut it out. Is it needed? Cut it out. And he would always question authority and say, hey, where'd that come from? If there's a rule or there's a law that says this, where'd that come from? And he never accepted a general, like a company or a general name. It was always who was the person that made that rule and why is it a rule? And for him and his business, he said the only rules that are certain laws are the laws of physics. Everything else is questionable. And it's not that they were wrong, but it's like, hey, let's figure out if that's true or not. Because just because someone said it one time and now everyone follows it doesn't mean it's true. And so let's cut that out. Let's cut that out. Let's cut that out. Most people say we need this in our business. Let's cut it out. And if we do need it, we'll see. And we'll put it back in. It was really cool just to see that he just went on the extreme side of just cutting things out as much as possible and then adding it back in if it's necessary. And so in pest control, in any business, there's lots of things that owners do and businesses do just because that's what they saw. That's what they did when they were technicians at their previous company, or that's what's just standard at this point. And so I think it's really smart to just cut things out. Do we need that piece of equipment? Do we need that chemical? Do we need to do things in that way? Do we need to send reminders in that way? Do we need customers to do this? Do we need to do this on our end? Like, just ask all and really push back on everything and get to the very bare bottom, because what happens is you're left with the most important things and the highest value things in your business. And if you need to add back other things, you will. But as you cut things out, you'll focus your attention on the things that matter the most. And so whether it's part of the service, whether it's a chemical, whether it's an area you spray, whether it's something in your CRM, like just question and say, hey, can we cut this out? Do we need this? Look at your P&L and say, look at all the expenses. Do we need this? Do we need this? Can we cut it out? Can we cut it out? And you'll run a way more profitable business because you're focused on the most important things that bring you the most value. So I thought that was pretty cool from Elon. Stories from Tesla, just cutting things out of the process, even taking things off the car in the design process. He went as far as taking out the blinker. When you push down, it goes left, or push up, it goes right. He said, hey, what if it's just a button by the thumb? Can we do that? Can we cut out that extra little knob? And they did cut it out. And then eventually they realized that they got a lot of pushback on that, so they put it back in. But just one example of just things that taken to an extreme, like you might think, oh, no, we need that. Like that's the way it's always done. Or we have that because so-and-so said to. Question all authority and cut out everything and then put back what's absolutely needed. Lesson number 2, Elon Musk had and still has a ruthless determination to succeed, and he can let nothing get in the way. And I think as a business person, as an entrepreneur, it's super admirable to see that in people, especially in a world where mediocrity is accepted in most areas. With social media, with how convenient everything is nowadays, there's fast food, there's AI, there's so many things that can just get you answers easily, get you results easily. There's Ozempic, there's shortcuts to everything in life. And he was just so ruthlessly determined to succeed in everything. He had a mission, and it said that even when he was like 8 years old, he had this idea that he wanted to get to Mars, and he just focused on that. He wants to get to Mars. That's his determination with rocket ships and with space travel, that he was so determined to succeed that he let nothing get in the way. And there's clear downsides to that with relationships that he fractured along the way. And I mean, again, not I can't judge anything on his personal side, but um, just being so determined to succeed, I think, is the way as a business owner to make it happen. And a lot of owners I talk to or have been around too, sometimes it's clear when you talk to them that they're not as determined as other people. There'll be people you sit down with and you talk to them, or just you feel their energy, and you're like, that person is determined. That person's gonna win in life and in business, and you just feel it. There's other people that you might sit down with, and it feels like they seem pretty comfortable. Like, I'm not sure how many more customers they're gonna get this year. I'm not sure how much more they're gonna push their business forward. They seem pretty comfortable. And being around the first people who are like just go-getters and doers, that motivates you to do a lot better. So just in your pest control business, think about it. Like, are you comfortable? Do you wake up every morning just wanting to get more customers and wanting to move the business forward and wanting to drive revenue and profit and go and just hit all your goals in your business? Or are you at a point where you're comfortable and you're okay with the customers you have and the money you're at is comfortable right now? Because a lot of people I think are more people than you might think. And in my opinion, it's easier to succeed now than it ever has been. But it's also easier now to be comfortable than it's ever been. And so there's those two polar opposites where I think more people could be successful, and it's way easier to be because the bar is just way lower. You can get ahead of people by doing less than you could in the past. But also it's way easier to be comfortable with, again, social media and so many easy things that can just fill your time and fill your mind, and you can spend your money in all these ways. So it's harder to break out of that, but once you do, it's way easier to be successful and just be determined and be focused. And when you do that, you can get way ahead of people. And that was a clear lesson from Elon Musk. He wasn't born in the best environment. He didn't have the best upbringing, but he was very determined and had a vision of what he wanted, and he went and got it. So in your business, think about that. Are you comfortable? Are you determined? Do you have goals you set? Have you let go of all your goals from the beginning? Did you set goals 5 years ago when you started your business and you've just completely forgot that? Or did you set goals at the beginning of the year and you've just completely abandoned those, and now you're just in this routine of just maintaining, spraying houses, coming home, doing the invoices, and doing it all over again? And if you can get that fire back under you, you can grow your business really fast. Number 3, Elon Musk always moved deadlines up. And a lot of times he did it in crazy ways. There's stories with Tesla of how the factory was pumping out, I believe it was 1,000 or 2,000 cars per day they're manufacturing, and he wanted 5,000, or sorry, per week, 1 or 2 per week, 2,000. He wanted 5,000 per week, and they were like, we're not even sure this is possible. But he's like, hey, by June we want it at that rate, and just blowing off just any sort of expectation or standard, and just being like, hey, we're gonna do it at this rate, and they did, and it was literally June 30th that night that they hit the 5,000th car for the week. And just went to crazy extremes. There was not even enough room in the manufacturing facility. They had to set up literal tents outside that facility to make it more room so they could manufacture more cars. And with every employee he worked with, it was just like, hey, this is our goal. They're like, yeah, we'll do it next month. Hey, can we do it today? Or can we do it by tonight? And the more you can move up deadlines and move up expectations, the more you'll get done. A lot of businesses run with like, hey, end of week. Like, hey, here's this report I need, end of week. Or here's this task I need, can you do end of week? He was always, literally end of hour or like right now. But if you and your business can move deadlines up to end of day, you're now going to be functioning and going at 7 times the pace of someone who runs their business end of week. Or think of end of month. A lot of companies say, hey, let's get that done end of month. The goal is this, let's do it by the end of the month. You'll be moving 30 times faster. That's why it is possible to grow a business 50 times faster than another company. But a lot of times it takes these mental, you got to detach mentally of what you thought was possible and what you're used to doing. And you see businesses right now that are 50 times bigger than other businesses, and you just got to realize that they do things differently. And so in your business, if you want to grow at a faster rate, you need to move deadlines up, and you need to rethink what's possible. If this whole time you thought, oh, getting 20 customers in a month is great, what about 50? Or what about 20 customers in a week? And if that was the number, what would you do? Because when you move that up to a week, if we have to get 20 this week, you're going to start doing things like crazy. You're going to be talking to way more people. You're going to be asking for way more referrals. You're going to be knocking way more doors. You're going to be commenting on all these different Facebook groups. You're going to find ways to get it done. And you might not get 20, you might get 15, you might get 10. But the effort that it takes to get there and the new things you learn along the way is going to give you the skill set to go get 20 in a week eventually. And when you do that, boom, now it's like, hey, how can we get 50 in a week? And you can do that. So move all deadlines in your business up. Go from a week to a day, or go from this is our goal in a month to a week. And you'll find ways to succeed at higher rates than you had before. Lesson number 4 I learned from Elon's book was he had zero tolerance for mediocrity or anything below his standard. And he was very quick to fire. He was very quick to let someone know when they're coming up short. And again, it goes back to his determination to succeed. He wasn't going to let anyone get in his way. He wasn't going to let anyone's subpar performance or attitude get in his way of accomplishing what he wanted to accomplish. And it's another one of those things where when that is the case, you will rub some people the wrong way and you will fracture some relationships if you do it the wrong way. But at the end of the day, he was just so driven and focused. And the higher and faster you got, the less time you have for mediocre people, which can sound a bit numb or a bit ignorant. But what you have to realize is there's mediocre companies for mediocre employees. And so you as a business owner just need to realize, are you that company? And sometimes people will say like, oh, but if I fire this employee, no one else will hire them. Well, think about that. If you don't employ them, no one else will. Okay, well maybe you shouldn't be employing them. And if you, the faster you go or the faster you want to go, the less you can tolerate mediocre performance, whether a technician or an office person or a salesperson, whether it's close rate or customer satisfaction. And you probably can think of right now in your business, someone in your business that you constantly remind or you constantly have given a longer leash to or you constantly give them a second chance. And just ask yourself, what business are you in? If you're more in the business of helping someone develop in their personal life and learn the skills and develop their character, okay, you can keep that person and keep spending all your time there. Or if you're more in the business of growing your business and creating a cash cow that can then fund different areas of your life and provide money for your future and your spouse and your children and grow to hit all your goals. And when you do that, you can provide for even more people in your life and donate to charities. Like if that's what you want, you can't tolerate that person any longer. A lot of people think they're kind of right in the middle and that can be okay. But just think, which one do you want to be? Do you want to be a charity or do you want to be a business that can grow and change the world and change your community? And depending on what side you're on, depends on how much or will dictate how much tolerance you have for mediocrity. So Elon had zero. Whenever anyone came up short, even just once, zero tolerance, they were gone. And even when people were performing at a very high level, levels that at other companies would probably be praised and rewarded, a lot of times he cut them out too because it just wasn't to his standard. So whatever your standard is in your pest control business, think about it and make sure that everyone in your company knows that standard. And if they're not performing to it, make sure you have things in place to get them there, because you might not have the training in place or it could be your fault. If it's not, you should probably cut them out and go find someone who is at the standard. Don't lower your standards for your employees. Make sure that they meet your standards. Number 5, Elon was very mission driven. He's kind of got a bad reputation now in some people's eyes, but with everything he did, first it was space travel and just extending the lifetime of humanity. And if the world, for whatever reason, wasn't able to be inhabited anymore, he wanted to have Mars and another planet as somewhere where humans could inhabit. And then it was also free speech with Twitter. He wanted to make sure that America and the world had a platform that truly facilitated free speech and that things weren't censored or things weren't blocked. And then also with Tesla, he wanted to cut down on gas and have cars that were fueled by energy and battery powered. He had a solar company as well with a similar mission and having just clean, sustainable energy in the world. And so all these missions were the reasons he started those companies and the reasons that he worked so hard and the reasons that he slept in the offices and spent 20 hours a day working and gave his whole life and all his time to those things because there was a mission behind it. And when there's a mission behind the company, it makes it a lot easier to spend the time in it, spend the money, and spend everything that you do to run the company when you forget about that, or if you're detached from that at that point, it becomes hard and everything feels like a job and it feels taxing and you lose that passion for it and everything feels like it's a cost, like you're losing time with your family or you're losing opportunities with this or so on. So it's super cool to see if someone has a mission and a reason behind it, what they can accomplish. And so for you and your business, think about why you started it. What was the reason? And it's okay if it changes from time to time, but there was probably a reason very early on that you've probably forgotten at this point, or it's got lost in the mix. It could be you wanted to have the flexibility to whatever, spend time with your kids on the weekends or coach their games or provide for your family at a higher rate than you could as a technician in your previous job, or provide a better service for customers because you saw your last company did not do a good service. Or your mission could be to take over your whole city and be the number one company in your city. Whatever it is, think about what your mission is, and when that is your focus every day, you can accomplish way more, and it becomes easier and more fun to run your company and chase that mission. So a few lessons I learned from Elon Musk, super cool reading his book, highly recommend. In general, just learning from people who are ahead of you in business, in life. There will always be things you don't like and do like, but whenever anyone's ahead of you, there's things they're doing at a better rate, with better skills that you can learn from. Take what you like, leave what you don't like, and better yourself so that you can better your company, better your community, and be a better father, husband, wife, mother, dad, whatever you are, be better in those areas. So hopefully a few of these things resonate with you of ways you can run your business better. Take some of things Elon Musk has done in his businesses and apply it to your pest control company because, again, he's the richest man in the world who's grown many, many businesses to multi-million dollars, multi-$100 million, even billions. So if you can even take a fraction of that and implement it, it can make a world of a difference in your business. Hopefully this has been helpful for you. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. If you have, please leave a review. Please leave a little comment with it. That helps this grow, helps more pest control owners grow their businesses too. And I'll see you on the